Hello, everybody, and welcome into this week's 30 Minutes program. This is Paul Tinkle. I can't tell you how excited I am about our program today because this is something that, and I really believe everyone needs to listen to. And it's about something that I love, and that's the symphony, particularly the Jackson Symphony. And we're going to be talking with the executive director, Sherry Freeman, who is in her 6th year with the Jackson Symphony, and she knows everything. And I want to tell you, first off, Sherry, how glad I am to have you here in the radio station. And my friend Kay Wilkes set this up, so I'm going to give her a little props here at the beginning. But there's so much that's going on with the symphony that we haven't been able to tell the story as well as I think we should. So that's what we're going to do today, talking about the Jackson Symphony.
Well, thank you, Paul. It's an honor to be here, and certainly appreciate Kay Wilkes, who is a very important part of the Jackson Symphony, helping to make this possible. So we're excited to get to come out and talk about the Jackson Symphony and all the many things that are going on.
All right. Now, I'm one of these people that I like to educate the folks that may have no clue that there was a Jackson Symphony. What is the symphony?
Well, the Jackson Symphony was established in 1961 by a group of interested community members in the Jackson area that really wanted to bring professional orchestral music to West Tennessee. And since that time, the symphony is now the oldest, longest sustained symphony in the state of Tennessee. It's never missed a season since its beginning. And it's just a wonderful professional orchestra that provides beautiful orchestral music and probably more different music than you might think. People have a preconceived idea of that it's all this, high brow kind of classical music, which it is. It does do that, but it also has a beautiful pop series as well. It relates to the people of West Tennessee and our community, and it's just a great treasure that we have here in West Tennessee.
Sherry, am I correct that there are people here from Weakley, Obion County, Gibson County? They all make up the symphony, including many others.
There are. We have some wonderful members that come from Martin every time that play with the Jackson Symphony, professors at the university, So the musicians for the Jackson Symphony come from all around. They do come from West Tennessee, but then they come from all over the country. They're professional musicians in their area. Probably the majority of our musicians come out of Memphis and Nashville. Of course, Nashville is now one of the largest hubs for classical music in the nation. So we are able to pull from all around the surrounding areas, and then on out. They come from Texas. They come from Florida. They come from Georgia, from Kansas, all over to fly in and play for the Jackson Symphony.
Now, how did a young country girl like you get involved with the symphony? Now, a lot of people don't know this, but you grew up in Bradford.
I did. I grew up in Bradford, Tennessee, right on Bopat Farms. So, always been a part of this area in West Tennessee. But my mother was, and my father were both, big advocates of the arts. They loved the arts. They thought that was something that people should be involved in and engaged with. My daddy very much loved music, and my mother very much was a promoter of the arts. So we were given experiences and opportunities as we grew up to be a part. My family was also very big in giving back, working for their communities and trying to make things better for the people that lived and worked in those areas. So I spent 30 years in education and retired in public education and 6 years ago. And
you taught in Middle Tennessee, right?
Well, I did teach in Rutherford County for a few years when we first married back in the 80s and early 90s. And we've been back in Jackson since 93, went to work for Madison County Schools, taught there for a while, also taught at Lambeth University.
Were you doing at any time trying to culturalize some of the kids about the finer things in life?
Well, always arts are important, because, just like sports are important, there are many of our students that are very artistically inclined. And so I believe that you try to bring that out in all students. So, I guess all of those paths led me to the Jackson Symphony.
Now, this is the 64th season of the Jackson Symphony. And let me just give you the folks, let me just ask for the overflow on all of this, and that is, how many people are in the symphony?
An average symphony will sit between 60 and 65 musicians on an average concert. It depends on what the concert needs. Some could sit more, some could sit less.
So there's everything from trumpets, trombones, to bass. I mean, there's piccolos. I mean, everything usually you're going to find at the symphony, correct?
Right. Like, again, that depends on what the concert requires or what it calls for. But yes, you're going to find the major components of an orchestra.
Did you ever play any instrument?
I barely could pick at a piano. So, it's not a requirement, I say, in order to run the symphony.
So the symphony has grown over the years. How many years now?
64.
And this group, of course, continues to evolve year after year after year with different musicians and some of the people that have been there for many, many years.
Yes, it does. I mean, our musicians, kind of come and go depending on, what's happening in their lives and their worlds. A lot of our musicians are, they're professors at universities. Also, a lot of them are studio musicians that play on, movies, soundtracks, and, the gaming soundtracks you find now. All of that is classical music. So that's what the majority, they are professional. And our musicians most all of them will sit more than one symphony or more than one orchestra. So some sit as many as 6 orchestras.
The one name that stood out to me through the years is Dr. Jordan Tang.
Right. Dr. Tang was, he was our conductor for many years.
Yeah.
For many years, and but Peter Shannon came in after him and has been with us for now, and this will be his 10th season with us.
What's the role of the conductor?
Well, the conductor and artistic director, they manage the programming. They
Did they determine the music that they teach, play, and so forth?
They do. We obviously have a board and we have artistic advisory committees and things that help along those lines, but they lay the groundwork of what a season should look like and what it should do. So, and they work on the musician side.
If you just joined us, we have Sherry Freeman with us, and I'm really pleased to have her because we're talking about the Jackson Symphony. She's the go-to person at this incredible group of men and women, young men, some young women as well, who make some of the most incredible notes you will ever have heard. Now, I take all of that to say, what's coming up here in the near future? When does the symphony begin its program through the next year?
Well, our symphony season begins on September the 7th. We'll open up with Appalachian Springs, which is a ballet. And for the first time, we're actually doing a full ballet with our orchestra. And so we're partnering with Ballet Arts of Jackson on this. So this will be a beautiful concert and an amazing night to open our 64th season. This will take place at the Ned. We do 2 concerts each year at the Ned that are, it's a smaller, more intimate venue there, and so we're very excited to open up our season with that concert.
How many do they seat there?
It seats around 400.
Can you tell me if you're sold out yet, or are you close to it?
We're close to sold out. We're not sold out yet, but we are getting close because this venue does tend to sell out, and with the the combination of the ballet arts this time, we're finding that more so.
So you have the ballet on the stage right there in front, and the orchestra is going to be.
They'll be on the stage as well, but they'll be back. We'll be using all the stage that night.
There's so many people that are interested in maybe working with the Jackson Symphony, because you got to have people that can run the lights and the sound and take tickets up. But this is a nonprofit organization. Is that correct?
It is. It is. We are a 501c3. Yes.
So what does it take to put a show on like this? You have to pay the orchestra. Is that correct?
Oh, yes. Yes. This is, putting on a concert is a very expensive endeavor. We do 8 concerts a year. That includes the Starlight Symphony, which is the free public concert on the grounds of First Presbyterian Church, a huge night for the Jackson Symphony.
Let's hope it doesn't rain.
That's right. Always hoping it doesn't rain. But an average concert will run around $75,000+ because you do have a lot of money. And, of course, you do pay your orchestra. You have production, which is a huge expense. But, if you can't see and hear well, then, that would be a problem.
I think people, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I think people need to recognize if you go to see a country artist or, for example, the Soybean Festival here, it costs a lot of money to put a show on. And that's exactly what we're talking about.
Yes, it is. It's much more costly than most people, can imagine, because you do have, the cost that you would kind of physically see. But then there's, tons of hidden costs as there is in any business: insurance, rent, salaries, staff, printing cost, advertising cost. I mean, there's all kinds of things that make all of that up. And so the Jackson Symphony, as a nonprofit, is continually working for support from, individuals, our patrons, our ticket holders, as well as support from our communities.
I want to jump into something that perhaps has affected a lot of people, and we're talking about the Kirkland Cancer Center. Can you share with us about that program, the music healing?
We Maestro Peter Shannon began the music and healing program when he came here early in his tenure with us. And we are delighted and honored to continue this program to this day. We send musicians, at least 2, twice a week into the Kirkland Cancer Center. They play for people while they're in treatment. It's just a big, huge positive for them. We also play weekly at the Jackson-Madison County General Hospital. And in the last few years, we've expanded now where we play in veterans' homes, long-term and memory care facilities throughout West Tennessee. So we do this at no cost to, we charge nothing to do this. And we're, very appreciative that many of our supporters have helped make that possible. So when you give to the Jackson Symphony, we try to make sure that we put that money right back out in your community to make it, to enhance the lives of those around.
So many people probably don't even recognize how COVID affected so many things. How did it affect the Jackson Symphony, Miss Sherry?
Well, I will have to say that was one of the more difficult things that I navigated, and as it was with many people that owned and worked in businesses and schools and families. But we really tried at the Jackson Symphony to find a way to play throughout COVID because we knew our musicians needed work. The artists in particular were very hard hit during COVID. So we began something we call Symphony on the Move. And these are small ensemble groups of the Jackson Symphony that we started out going into people's yards. Just whoever would have us that would pay us $2,000 to come and play for an hour of music so that we could pay our musicians and keep our name out in front of the world or, West Tennessee. So we began this, and I really kind of thought this would go away when we opened back up and we could gather people together. But we found that it didn't go away, but it actually expanded, and it became communities that wanted these ensembles. So we have played in more than 10 counties. We've done more than 70 of these ensemble concerts. We just wrapped up in June a series of 10. We tend to do a kind of a set of 10 of these, and we start them in May and run through June. And they're just sought after all over West Tennessee, and people by the hundreds show up for these free community concerts. And we're thrilled to work with communities throughout to help make this possible and to bring the arts to people in their own hometowns.
I don't know if I can put this into the cup that I want it to go, but you have young people and seniors that are a part of the Jackson Symphony. How young and how old do we have in this spread of people that are a part of the Jackson Symphony?
Or that are that are affected by
No, I'm talking about the musicians.
We open up our we have a huge children's division and it just expanded in the last year. It's called our Jackson Symphony Music Academy. We've had a youth orchestra for 40 years, and we have young strings programs, Camerata and Symphona, and then in the last 4 years we've opened up a children's choir. But in this last year, we expanded our reach into what we call regional music centers. We've opened up starting in January in 7 counties throughout West Tennessee. And we offer instruction in either vocal or instrumental or both, depending on the county. And we had more than 200 children to be a part of the Regional Music Center right from the get-go. And this is we offer this free to children and families because we believe that young artists need stages. And we see that oftentimes arts is what they have the least access to. So this is what we do very well. And so we put our name behind this. We have huge programs in a lot of your listening area in Obion and Weakley and Henry counties, and so we're excited about that. So those programs started around age 3rd grade, 4th grade in there, and then we go on up. I'm sure we have musicians that don't reveal their age, but probably in their 70s.
Is it safe to say that some band directors have joined through the years?
They have. We've had some to come on as we try to find our. We really try to find our people inside their communities. So, we've had some of that. But we have many members of our orchestra that teach in these.
The thing that makes me feel real good is to know that we have music in our schools. If you don't have music, and you've been an educator, you know where I'm going with this. If you don't have music in your school, how are kids going to know what real other – they get a lot of music, but maybe none like what Jackson Symphony provides.
Well, we certainly hope that we meet a niche in these communities. A lot of them that we go in, we start strings programs is our big focus because there aren't string programs in most of our public schools in West Tennessee.
Tell them what string means.
And that would be violin, viola, cello, bass. So we really want to offer those opportunities to young people. So we've worked on doing that. One of our largest strings program is in Obion County at Discovery Park of America. We have a huge strings program there. So we do that. We also, in our choral, we offer, classical training in that. And these children come together twice a year for a concert on stage at the Carl Perkins Civic Center in Jackson. And then we have tried to make opportunities where they actually perform with the Jackson Symphony.
I want to take just a moment to give our listeners what kind of programs we are looking at here in this next season that begins September the 7th at the NID.
Yeah, we have a wonderful, wonderful season laid out for the 64th season. We have kind of two breakdowns inside our season. We have a Masterworks and we have Pops concerts.
That's my favorite, by the way.
Most people it is, but you really don't need to cheat yourself. Come hear a beautiful Masterworks concert because that is what they do the best. They are trained to do. But we'll start our season on September the 7th with Appalachian Springs, like we said, with the ballet. We'll move straight on into the Starlight Symphony. This will be the 44th Starlight Symphony on September the 28th. Free public concert on the grounds of First Presbyterian Church. If you've never heard the symphony, come give this a try. It's a lot of fun. We are doing, for the very first time on October the 12th, we're doing a live-to-film production. We are in partnership with Disney, and we will be doing the film where you will actually watch the movie Hocus Pocus, and the scores are taken out of that, and our orchestra will play that live. This is a very unique experience.
Wow.
And we are the first in West Tennessee to do that. So we have worked very hard for almost 2 years to get this partnership in place and to be able to do this. So
let me
exciting night.
Let me clarify just to make sure I understood it. You're going to get to watch the movie, and all of the music that would be in the movie is going to be right there in front of the screen and right there in the audience who can hear every single note.
That's it. That's right. You will actually hear that.
That's pretty cool.
Played live. It's very cool. And we are so excited to get to do this because, I mean, you don't do anything with Disney that you don't, cross all your T's and dot your I's.
Well, it won't surprise me if they have somebody there from Disney watching to make sure and listening.
We are expecting that. Yeah. We are expecting that.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
So it is.
And it's Hocus Pocus, right?
Hocus Pocus, which is darling. We're going to be doing our first Masterworks with what we call table seating, because if you've ever been to the Carl Perkins Civic Center, one of the unique things is we have table seating. So on the Fringe, which is a Roaring Twenties Masterworks concert with Gershwin, American in Paris. We're excited about that. Of course, our Holiday Pops is our largest concert of the year. We have that coming up on December the 7th. We'll have a family matinee that morning. That is very family friendly. It's a 1-hour concert. The tickets are very inexpensive, $15 for an adult, $10 for a child. And we don't expect them to sit quiet or be still. So we do this strictly for the children, and a great experience. In February, we'll do Shaken and Stirred, which are the love songs of James Bond movies. So I think that'll be a lot of fun. We'll go on to The Chase on March the 8th, which will be our final Masterworks of the season. You'll have Don Juan in there. So a beautiful night of spring music. And then we'll end on April the 5th.
Wait a minute. Don't tell them. Folks, you are going to say, what? Here it goes.
Yes, on April the 5th, we'll round out our pop series with the music of Led Zeppelin.
Now, I don't know how you do that. I mean, Miss Sherry, I'll be very candid with you. I'm having a hard time, and are they going to dress up maybe a little differently?
I don't know, but it'll be a fun night.
But band members and those who love to play, they have a tendency to wear a certain wardrobe whenever they can, and this may be one of those moments.
This could be that. Could be that. But a wonderful, fun season. And if you have never heard the Jackson Symphony, you really need to take advantage of this jewel that sits right here in West Tennessee.
Okay, now, so how do you get a season pass, or how much do they cost for families? Right.
If you are interested in talking about season tickets, and that can vary depending on the location you choose, you're welcome to go online to thejacksonsymphony.org or call our office at 731-427-6440. We'll be glad to help you understand and walk through that. You can buy individual tickets for concerts, and those are open right now, so you can go online. Tickets are $40 for concerts, and in particular at the Civic Center, we usually have some tickets available at the door. We also have student discounts at the door night of on our pop series, or those that are at the Civic Center when available. So we certainly encourage you to come and check out the Jackson Symphony. We've tried to make it available to all people.
Can you go ahead and just take a moment regarding table seating? I think you've got a figure there that will at least give people an idea if you were wanting to buy a table, or maybe wanted to buy a table of 8, 4, 6, whatever those numbers are.
Sure. Depending on where the tables are located in the room, kind of varies. Like a Maestro table or ours, most table that are closer to the front. Those for a full season would run $450 a person. For the pop season, $400 a person. We go all the way back to bistro seating, which are 2-seater tables. Those are very popular, and they're already sold out. The next available table would be bronze. They run about $300 a person to $350, depending on the package you get. But remember, the Carl Perkins Civic Center has 1,000 seats in its balcony. There is no bad seat. And a season for a balcony starts as little as $200 for a full season. That's 7 shows, 7 concerts.
So $200, 8 shows. I mean, I'm just trying to do the math. It's pretty inexpensive if you get down to it.
It really is. We make it very affordable.
And here's the other thing, and I know that you folks allow this. I suspect you do. But if you can't go, give your ticket to somebody else. Can they do that?
Absolutely. So, they can. Absolutely. We encourage that. Don't leave a seat empty.
And I think there's another thing, that you might want to consider doing as a patron, and that is give those gifts for birthdays, anniversaries, Christmas presents, and those kinds of things.
It really is. I know that my parents will often gift a couple of tickets for their pastor at the church, and take he and his wife to a concert. So for somebody that, has everything, I mean, this is what I give my parents for their birthday and anniversary are season tickets to the Jackson Symphony.
Well, not everybody will know Sherry Freeman, but you may know somebody else that works there. But who are members of your staff that help along the way?
Well, Katie Smith is from right here in Barton, who's our artistic director for the Jackson Symphony. She is a local hometown girl to you all, and she is over everything we do as far as programming and stuff. And so Katie's great. Of course, Peter Shannon is our conductor of the Jackson Symphony. Peter lives year-round in Ireland. So he comes back and forth into the country and into Jackson, and we look forward to that. Kara Hickerson is the person you talk to if you were dealing in tickets. Tracy King does all our marketing. Lynn Barker is our vice president of development. And then Deb Rhodes runs our Jackson Symphony Music Academy. So I have a great team that works very hard. And Britt Gwynn is our new administrative assistant. We're excited to, like I said, we have a wonderful team with the Jackson Symphony and so appreciative of them.
The one thing that sometimes the word symphony sounds expensive, and I want to kind of dispel this. All walks of life can come in and feel comfortable at the Jackson Symphony.
Absolutely. Yes. And that's why I encourage people to come one time, because you're going to be surprised. I mean, this is available and open to everyone, and we want to make people feel welcome, and we want them to come in, and I think you'd be surprised by the experience you've had. And we've had many people do that and come one time and be like, I loved this, I want to come back. So music is universal. It doesn't know economic bounds or location bounds, and so I think you'll really be amazed at the time you have.
How can I be a trumpeter, for example, if I wanted to be a part of the symphony? How do I get inside that circle to say, I want to be someone who has played with the Jackson Symphony?
Well, that is a process, and you would start that process with Katie Smith. I mean, we have auditions for our symphony and for certain positions and sections in our symphony throughout a season or at certain points in the year. So you would just reach out to us at the Jackson Symphony. We'd get you into contact with the right person, and they'll take you through the process.
The question I think I follow up with that is, what is your favorite instrument, Sherry?
Well, I mean, I like a lot of them because they do something unique, and they bring a unique quality to the symphony. I mean, I have a lot of respect for all of what they do. Of course, everybody loves to hear a beautiful violin that's played perfectly. I think the bass players have a lot of personality, so do a lot of the cellos. You kind of see the strings, they're always kind of on the front row. But then there's nothing greater than a great percussionist that comes in at just the right time, or to see a beautiful harp being played, wonderfully. And
I'm a triangle guy, to tell you the truth.
So you like the percussionist, see?
I do. My wife was she very much was involved in band. But
so, a brass, you really cannot do anything with a great brass section either.
And then you got to have a drummer, the timpanis. I mean, we could go on about talking about
we really could.
The final thing I think we need to recognize is that not let the word Jackson Symphony overwhelm you. Think of it as a night out with your spouse, and think of it as a night where you can give your children an opportunity to see something that they have never seen in person.
That's right. I mean, it really is. Come and see the Jackson Symphony. We are West Tennessee Symphony, and, you need to make an opportunity, be a part of this. And yes, expose your children to this. It will benefit them.
Sherry Freeman, Executive Director of the Jackson Symphony, folks. You can find them on the web without any problem. And thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor to be here. We have so many great patrons and supporters in this area, and we're just delighted to be here today and to speak to them directly. So thank you so much for having me.
Great asset to the symphony. Thank you. That's our program today here on 30 Minutes. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Paul Tinkle, pre-recorded here on WCMT.
You've been listening to 30 Minutes, a community affairs program on Thunderbolt Radio. You can listen to this broadcast and others anytime by visiting thunderboltradio.com and following the Thunderbolt Radio and Digital YouTube page. Thanks for listening.